Throughout South America, impossible monuments rise, megalithic constructions that seem to defy the logic of time and history, blocks weighing hundreds of tons, walls fitted together with millimeter precision, and temples oriented by the stars. All built in times when, according to official archaeology, none of this should have been possible. Who built these colossal works? And how did they accomplish feats that are still difficult for us to understand today? On this journey, we will explore the mysteries of megalithic constructions that seem to hide forgotten secrets of humanity. In the Bolivian highlands, at an altitude of more than 3,800 meters, rises one of the most puzzling enigmas of Andean archaeology, Pumapunku, the Puma's Gate. There, enormous blocks of andesite and sandstone, some weighing more than 100 tons, were moved and fitted together with a precision that defies simple explanation. What's most intriguing is not just their size, but the level of detail they display. Perfect cuts, straight angles, and H-shapes that appear to have been crafted with high-tech instruments. These pieces fit together with pinpoint accuracy, like a giant stone puzzle. And yet, they were built around 500 to 600 AD by a culture that lacked iron or steel. The inevitable question arises: what kind of tools were used to work the hard andesite with such precision? How was it possible to move colossal blocks across uneven terrain and deposit them with such precision? Are they really as old as officially claimed? Some archaeologists suggest that stone hammers and abrasion techniques were employed. Others believe the explanation lies not in conventional technology, but in lost knowledge, perhaps inherited from a tradition much older than official history recognizes. Pumapunku remains an enigmatic testament, a work that seems ahead of its time, as if the builders had access to knowledge we can barely glimpse today. A few kilometers from Pumapunku, another of the great enigmas of the Andean Plateau rises, Tiwanaku, considered by many to be the cradle of pre-Columbian civilizations in South America. Among its ruins, a monument stands out that seems to hold secrets from a distant time: the Gate of the Sun. Carved from a single block of andesite, this imposing structure is striking not only for its size, but also for the precision of its engravings. At the top, relief figures unfold in a complex design laden with symbolism. Some researchers maintain that it is a solar and lunar calendar, capable of measuring time cycles with astonishing accuracy. Others see in its images the representation of advanced astronomical knowledge, which would have allowed Tiwanaku to master agriculture in an extreme environment. The orientation of the gate does not seem accidental. Its astronomical alignments suggest that its builders understood the relationship between the sun, the moon, and the seasons. But how did a highland culture, more than 1,500 years ago, achieve such mastery of the sky without telescopes or metal instruments? Some archaeologists consider it the mother civilization of the Andes, a center of power and knowledge that passed on its legacy to later cultures, such as the Incas. However, the origins of Tiwanaku remain a mystery. Did it emerge in isolation, or did it inherit knowledge from a much older tradition? At the Gate of the Sun, the stones seem to speak a language we have yet to fully decipher, a message that connects humanity to the cycles of the cosmos. If walls in the Bolivian highlands seem to defy logic, as we cross the mountains toward Cusco, we encounter a structure that takes the mystery even further. Sacsayhuaman, the fortress of the Incas, but with roots that could be much older. On the hills overlooking the city of Cusco rise the cyclopean walls of Sacsayhuaman, formed by gigantic stone blocks weighing more than 300 tons. Each rock was carved into irregular polygonal shapes and fitted together with a precision that astonishes even today. There is no mortar, no visible joint, and not even a sheet of paper can fit between their seams. The most intriguing thing is that these stones seem molded to fit together like pieces of a colossal puzzle. But the real mystery lies beyond their exactness. How were these massive structures transported up the steep slopes of Cusco, without wheels, without draft animals, and without metal tools that could have carved them with such perfection? Some maintain that it was a purely Inca work, executed with patience and stone hammers. Others, however, believe that the Incas inherited part of this construction from an earlier people, bearers of knowledge that official history still cannot explain. Sacsayhuaman rises like a fortress, a temple, or perhaps both, but also like a stone enigma, a reminder that, in the Andes, stone holds secrets that seem beyond our current capabilities. Descending from the heights of Sacsayhuaman toward the sacred valley of the Incas, the mystery doesn't dissipate, it transforms. There, between mountains and rivers, rises one of Peru's most puzzling megalithic complexes, Ollantaytambo. Here stands the unfinished Temple of the Sun, a monumental structure where enormous blocks of red granite were fitted together with the same precision as in Cusco. They seem to fit together like pieces from a giant stone Lego set. The origin of these colossi raises new questions. Their quarries are several kilometers away, on the other side of the river and deep in the mountains. Moving these stones through such rugged terrain, with slopes, ravines, and narrow paths, would have required engineering that defies the tools and methods we know from that time. And yet, perhaps the most intriguing aspect of Ollantaytambo is not its perfection, but its abrupt end. The Temple of the Sun was left unfinished. Partially carved blocks abandoned in the quarry seem to indicate that something suddenly interrupted construction. What could have happened? An invasion, a political collapse, or simply another mystery linked to the secrets of stone? No one knows for sure. Ollantaytambo stands as a bridge between the finished and the unfinished, between what we can see and what was lost in time, adding a new piece to the Andean puzzle. If the work in Ollantaytambo remained unfinished, in the highest mountains of Cusco we find a sanctuary that seems to have reached perfection, Machu Picchu, the most enigmatic jewel of the Andean world, built on an almost inaccessible site between mist-shrouded peaks and chasms that plunge toward the Urubamba River. Machu Picchu not only surprises with its beauty, it is a feat of planning and architecture. Its walls display the same perfect fit technique we saw in Sacsayhuaman and Ollantaytambo, but here they blend masterfully with the mountain. The design is no coincidence. Each terrace, each staircase, and each passageway are part of a complex system that combines aesthetic harmony with functionality. One of its greatest enigmas lies beneath the surface, a sophisticated drainage and hydraulic system capable of channeling rainwater and preventing landslides in terrain where the most logical scenario would have been a collapse. The canals, fountains and reservoirs appear to have been planned from the beginning with advanced knowledge of hydraulic and earthquake-resistant engineering. The big question is unavoidable. How did they manage to design such an efficient system in the middle of the mountains, without plans, without modern technology, and in such an isolated location? Machu Picchu is more than a tourist destination. It is a legacy that reminds us that Andean civilizations not only built imposing walls, but also mastered the art of coexisting with nature, shaping the mountain without destroying it. From Pumapunku to Tiwanaku, from Sacsayhuaman to Ollantaytambo, and finally Machu Picchu, the Andes reveal a chain of mysteries united by stone, works that seem ahead of their time, that defy conventional explanations and that, even today, seem to hold a secret, the echo of lost knowledge, perhaps older than we imagine. Was there a great civilization that dominated the Andes, older and more advanced than we think? Let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe for more videos like these.